This is Atlanta Franchise Today with Leslie Cuban, exclusively on the Atlanta Small Business Network.
Hey everybody, I'm Leslie Cuban, bringing you another edition of Atlanta Franchise Today. I'm excited to introduce you to my guest, Nadine Marsh Coleman. Nadine is a SERVPRO franchise owner here in Atlanta. Her company is a certified minority-owned and woman-owned business, and I'm very excited for her to join me and share her story with you. Nadine, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Leslie. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm very excited to hear all about your journey today. So our viewers are meeting you for the first time, so please tell us a little about you and your business.
I started SERVPRO franchise in 2014. During the time, I had a full-time job at General Electric, and so I wanted to. I started with a previous co-owner, and so in 2019, I transitioned, resigned my job, took over the business full-time, and I'm still running my SERVPRO franchise.
Well, congratulations!
Thank you, thank you.
So that's kind of an interesting transition. You were worked at a big company in the corporate world. So you partnered up with an existing franchisee?
Well,
is that right?
Well, it was actually a previous co-owner I partnered with. And then in 2019, I decided to take over the business full-time, 100%. And I did that.
Yeah, be the boss.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it was a difficult transition at first, because of course I came from a corporate environment. However, I did exactly what I was told to do. I did the training at the corporate office. I started aggressively marketing the business, and I did all the marketing resources, got my certifications, the required certifications in order to run the business successfully.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your SERVPRO business, what you do. As we were walking in to the studio, there's a hurricane hitting Florida. So this is something that you're one of the many things that your business helps to address. So tell us about the services and the things you do.
Absolutely. So the core services that we do provide are water mitigation services. We also provide fire restoration and mold remediation services. We're actually getting ready to participate in the storm in Florida currently. But 90% of our revenue comes from the corporate office, which is really like residential jobs. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to commercial or government jobs, we have to do that local marketing ourselves. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I have gotten my company certified as not only a minority-owned SERVPRO franchise, but also a woman-owned SERVPRO business. And these certifications help with getting the company these government contracts in particular, because that's one of the things that I'm really actually aggressively going to market right now to get more government contracts. I currently have contracts with Atlanta Public School, Emory University, and Forsyth County School District, and government contract to do government jobs at detention centers.
So you're able to go after bigger businesses,
absolutely.
So I'd like to unpack this a little further.
Sure.
So, and just learn a little bit about the process that you went through to gain these certifications. First, are they completely separate tracks? The minority certification and the women's certification, or are they combined in any way?
Yes, they are separate. With regards to the women-owned small business certifications, I got those from WeBank, Women Business Enterprise National Council. They are one of the certified organizations to certify businesses as women-owned small business. I also have African American Business Enterprise Certificate and Female Business Enterprise Certificate from the City of Atlanta. And that's also another entity, another body to get contracts with the City of Atlanta. So I've got basically 3 women minority certifications.
How long did these take from the time you kind of first started to whatever that first step was to, you've got the certifications in your pocket? What timeline?
To be honest, it's a lot of work, because they require a lot of documentations. I mean, simple stuff as proof of funds when the business started, to getting several documents to substantiate that the business is a valid business. it took me maybe a couple months to actually work on them. But once you've got one certificate, the other entities basically ask similar questions. It may be just one or two additions. So like, for example, the woman-owned small business and women business enterprise, those are quite similar, just a little bit of difference because one is specifically for government entities and the other one is for like just state. So that's only a minor difference. But to be honest, it's a lot of work to get these certificates. Yeah. But one of the reasons why I've gotten them is I don't want to just say that I'm a minority owned or a woman-owned small business. I want to get my company certified.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I love what you said. And I think this is good for people to hear that, part of your customer base comes from the brand. I mean, SERVPRO is a huge brand.
Absolutely.
Huge marketing budget.
Absolutely.
And it's a well-known brand name. And so that's going to drive business, but not all of it. You as a local franchisee also have to do some boots on the ground, proactive, going after business accounts.
Absolutely.
As an example.
And so the revenue that we get from our corporate office is, insurance-based jobs. Like when it comes to government and commercial jobs, 90% of the time, those jobs are not insurance-based jobs. They're like self-paid jobs. So we've got to do that local marketing to get these contracts. And that's one of my goals right now, to get some more contracts. And getting these certifications, it really helps to get these contracts.
Put you in the further up in the queue of priority for that business. Then I need to ask you. So I mean, mold remediation, it is not a glamorous business. What had you choose this type of business?
Well,
to
be honest, when I checked other restoration companies, SERVPRO is like one of the leading companies for this kind of business. There are other franchises that I could have participated in, but my previous co-owner, like a restoration business is more ideal than some other franchises and more profitable, of course. And of course, I've seen that from starting this franchise from basically scratch to where it is right now. And I've grown the business significantly since I've taken it over full time.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, it's an example. I mean, it may not be a pretty business, but it's one that is always needed every day of the week, every month of the year, that there's going to be some kind of need in someone's basement or their kitchen, or their roof is leaking, and in businesses, like, this stuff happens all the time. So it's certainly, while it may not be the sexiest, it's a very stable kind of business to be in. We
also do non-emergency services. Our core service lines are water, fire, and mold, but we also do non-emergency services such as general cleaning, duct cleaning, carpet cleaning services. So it's not only emergency services, but we also do non-emergency services.
Yes, stuff is always dirty.
Absolutely.
Nadine, you were sharing with me how there were periods in your life that you encountered some cultural biases and you had to work through and overcome those, and may have worked to your advantage in the end. So would love to hear your story about that.
So when I took over this business, of course, I came from a corporate environment. I didn't have the experience to run a SERVPRO franchise. So I was literally told, you're a Black woman, you could never do this work. And I used those words to my advantage to say, well, okay, I'm a Black woman, but I'm going to take this business to where I know it can be. And that's one of the reasons why I have gotten the company certified to get these minority-owned certificates and certify the business as a woman-owned small business. And since I've gotten these contracts, I'm being recognized a lot more now. I have gotten contracts with Emory. I've gotten contracts with Forsyth County School District, and I've also gotten contracts with Atlanta Public School. So the certifications help with getting contracts. So I use those words to my advantage to say, well, okay, I'm going to market my SERVPRO franchise as the only female minority-owned SERVPRO in the state of Georgia.
That is just fuel for the fire for an entrepreneur, is to tell me I can't do it.
Absolutely.
Well, watch me.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, when I started my business, I was in my mid-20s, and there was plenty of people who told me, you're too young to be able to do that. Well, I sure showed them. So.
Right. And one of my influencers is actually Barbara Cochran. I remember she told her story of her previous business partner who she started the business with, who told her that she will fail. And it was like a driving force. Yeah. So she's like one of my real influencers when it comes to running the business as a woman-owned business.
Yeah. Well, and you were sharing also that you were recently achieved an award within the SERVPRO is a big company. So
Absolutely.
To achieve some big awards is no small feat. Tell us about your awards.
Right. So 2021, I increased my volume significantly by 156% in comparison to the last 2 years. So my corporate office, SERVPRO Industries, they awarded me for that, my sales volume. So my goal right now is to take that to a little bit further. The next level is maybe 1.5 million. SERVPRO Corporate gives a Rolex watch. I would love to get that Rolex watch. And they do a lot of things to motivate the franchises to be successful, to gain businesses and so forth. And they are conventions over the summer. That's when we all meet and discuss how to grow our businesses and so forth, and get all these recognitions.
Yes, we do. Entrepreneurs love awards.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that was really good for me. It's a great milestone that I have accomplished, despite the obstacles that I've faced with the business. But it was a really rewarding award for my personal growth and development, and where I'm going to take this business further.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I'd love to have you give some advice, Nadine. Many of our viewers, actually similar to you, they come from the corporate world, and that's been their career. They're looking to be their own boss and get into their own business, and maybe looking at franchising. And you know, it takes some courage to take that leap. So what would be your words of advice for people who are kind of, they want to do it, but they're scared? Just what encouragement could you offer?
Well, I have a really good friend who I worked with at AT&T, because I worked also at AT&T in addition to General Electric. And we spoke about, you know, maybe owning a franchise. And she was like, I don't know if I can do it because I don't have the experience. She thought of a restaurant. And I'm like, no, you can do it. You've got that management experience. Once you've got that management experience, then you just use that, hire the people who has got the real on-the-job experience and manage the business. And by doing that, you're not only running the business as an owner, but you're overseeing the business entity itself. So you don't necessarily have to know how to do the day-to-day work. But if you hire someone who has that experience and manage the business by itself as an entity, then you can be successful.
Yeah. What a lot of people, it takes some time to realize that their corporate experience has been their training for entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
They've developed the skills. You've done it for others.
Absolutely.
So now you can, but also in having the support and the help and training and collaboration with other franchisees can make it a little less scary.
It is to make that leap. It was a huge leap, but I'm glad I did.
Yes, that's great. So what are your plans? We're coming up on the end of 2022, looking at 2023, what are your goals for your business next year?
Of course, I want to double my volume next year. That's one of my biggest goals for next year. I want to increase my employees. I am in the process of doing that currently, and in order to get the business, to get the volume significantly more, I've got to have more employees. So that's one of the things that I'm working on aggressively. Another thing that I'm working on, I need to get a location where, like I've got my office and my warehouse location, everything in one environment. Yes. So that's the other plan.
Bigger location.
Year. Right, a bigger location, yes.
Okay,
yes.
Well, that's very exciting.
Yes.
That's very exciting.
Thanks.
Well, Nadine, this has been a wonderful and very educational conversation. I know a lot of our viewers are going to really tune into what you shared about gaining a women-owned status, minority-owned certification, so it will help them in their businesses. So
Absolutely.
Really appreciate you sharing your journey.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for
having me. And congratulations on your growth.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Folks, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Atlanta Franchise Today. I'm Leslie Cuban, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.
Thanks for watching Atlanta Franchise Today with Leslie Cuban. This has been a JBF Business Media production.